The Adventures of Toy. Chapter 1. The Blind Boy and the Monkey. The village at the edge of the forest had no name outsiders cared to remember. It was a place of small fields, narrow paths, and the dull rhythm of days that blurred one into another. To most, it was a peaceful home. To one boy, it was a cage. Toy sat on the edge of the old stone well, his hands folded tightly in his lap. Around him, the village hummed with life, the scrape of hoes in the soil, the laughter of children running barefoot down dusty paths, the gossip of women over baskets of grain. He heard it all. For Toy, sound was the paintbrush that drew the world. He had no sight to guide him, only the endless black where his eyes should have been. Even now his pale scars gleamed faintly under the sun, empty sockets hidden behind strands of unkempt black hair. The children of the village never let him forget. "That's the blind boy," one whispered. "They say he was cursed." "No, my mother told me his eyes were stolen by demons." Toy's jaw tightened. He pretended not to hear. Pretending was easier than answering. In this world, eyes defined everything. From the glow, the patterns, and the mysteries locked within them, one could trace bloodlines, divine, cursed, or human. Great clans carried eyes that glimmered like galaxies or burned like fire. They were proof of ancestry, identity, and power. Toy had none. He was an orphan with hollow sockets, a boy without legacy. He let the warmth of the sun fall on his face, listening instead to the whisper of leaves in the forest beyond the fields. At least the forest did not pity him. At least the wind never whispered lies. But today, another voice did. "Oi, kid." Toy stiffened. The voice had come from close, far too close, yet he had heard no footsteps, no breath of approach. "You look like a statue waiting for moss," the voice continued. Male, young, but brash, a tone unafraid of being heard. Toy tilted his head slightly, listening. There was a scent, earthy, wild, tinged with fruit, and beneath it, the faint click of claws on stone. "Who are you?" The stranger laughed. Not cruelly, but with the easy confidence of someone who found everything amusing. "You can't see me, huh? Guess that makes this easier. Name's Riku. I'm a monkey." Toy blinked. "A monkey?" "Yep. The best one. Strongest, too. Probably the handsomest, but I'll let you imagine that part." Toy frowned. He had heard animals before, not with words, but with feelings. A dog's growl, a bird's flutter, even a snake's slither. He sometimes sensed more than sound, like whispers under their breath. But never this. This voice was clear, sharp, unmistakably human. "You don't believe me," Riku teased. "Here, I'll prove it." Something warm and furry clapped onto Toy's shoulder. Toy flinched at the sudden touch, heart racing. "You're real," he whispered. "Of course I'm real. Real and amazing." Riku's grin was audible. "And you, kid, you're not ordinary either. You smell like trouble and power." Toy shook his head. "Power? No, you're mistaken. I'm just an orphan, blind, worthless." "Worthless," Riku barked a laugh. "Then how come you can hear me so clearly?" Toy froze. That was true. With animals, voices were always vague impressions. But with Riku, the words rang as clear as any villager's. Something stirred deep in his chest. A pulse, faint but undeniable. "See?" Riku said smugly. "Special. I knew it the moment I sniffed you out." "Special," Toy repeated quietly. "Special," Riku confirmed. "And if you stick with me, I'll show you why." That night Toy sat on the roof of the hut he called home. The villagers tolerated him because pity made them generous, but he had no family, no true ties. The stars above stretched in their endless silence. He could not see them, but he felt them, like pricks of cold fire on the edge of his senses. Beside him, Riku tore into a stolen mango with loud, juicy bites. "So, what's your deal?" the monkey asked through a mouthful of fruit. "Blind orphan, no eyes, lives in a boring village, but you smell like gods, and demons had a drinking contest in your blood. What's the story?" Toy pulled his knees to his chest. "I don't know. I was found at the edge of the forest when I was small. The elder said my eyes were already gone." "Gone, huh?" Riku muttered. For once, his voice lost its cheer. "More like stolen." Toy turned toward the sound, though his gaze was hollow. "Stolen." Riku didn't answer immediately. He tossed the mango seed away and leaned back against the tiles. "Eyes define bloodlines in this world. Yours are missing. Doesn't take a genius to guess someone wanted them." Toy's breath caught. Stolen. All his life he had accepted his blindness as a curse, a fate. But to think someone had taken something from him, something that was his by birth, lit a quiet flame in his chest. "If they were stolen," Toy whispered, "can I take them back?" Riku grinned. "Now you're asking the right questions." The following days blurred into something new. Riku followed him everywhere, a shadow of laughter and mischief. The villagers cursed when their fruit went missing, or when clotheslines mysteriously collapsed. Toy found himself laughing more than he had in years. But the village's patience wore thin. Strange whispers spread, about the blind boy consorting with a beast, about curses growing stronger. One afternoon, Toy and Riku lingered by the forest's edge. Riku was chattering about some brilliant plan to steal honey when angry voices rose behind them. "There, that monkey again! Catch it before it curses the harvest!" A group of villagers burst from the path, ropes and sticks in hand. Riku's grin faltered. "Tch, persistent idiots!" He bounded onto a low branch, tail lashing. "Stay back, Toy. I'll handle this." But the villagers were ready. One swung a weighted net, and with a sharp snap, it unfurled through the air. Riku twisted mid-leap, but the rope tangled around his limbs, dragging him hard to the ground. "Got it! Kill the beast!" "Riku!" Toy shouted, stumbling forward. The monkey thrashed, baring sharp teeth. "Toy, run!" But Toy didn't move. His heart pounded, every sound carving itself into his mind. The rope tightening, Riku's claws scraping helplessly, the villagers' cruel laughter. Something inside him snapped. No, not again. He would not lose someone again. The world shifted. The rustle of leaves sharpened into rhythm, the pounding feet of villagers into drumbeats. He felt the strain of Riku's muscles as though they were his own, the wild fury of a king who had once ruled forests and mountains. His body trembled, but his spirit surged. A voice roared in his chest, not his own, but ancient, wild, proud. The Monkey King. Toy moved before thought. His legs coiled, then sprang. In a blur he landed between Riku and the villagers, his blind gaze burning with unseen fire. He gripped the rope with hands that felt stronger, sharper, not entirely human, and with a single pull, it snapped like thread. The villagers stumbled back, fear crackling in the air. Riku scrambled free, panting, eyes wide. "Kid, you!" Toy's chest heaved. His veins sang with wild freedom, laughter, rebellion that wasn't his but flowed through him. He turned his empty eyes toward the villagers, and though no light shone within them, they flinched as if a predator glared back. The Monkey King's legacy had stirred within him. The villagers broke first. Shouting in panic, they fled back toward the fields. Silence fell. Toy collapsed to his knees, gasping. The power ebbed, leaving only trembling limbs and the faint echo of a king's laughter. Riku hopped to his side, staring at him as though seeing him for the first time. You resonated with my strain, with the Monkey King's origin. Toy pressed his palms over his empty sockets, shaking. What happened to me? Riku grinned, but his voice carried awe. You just proved me right. You're not worthless, Toy. You're the bridge. Toy lifted his head, chest still burning with the afterglow of power. For the first time, hope flickered in the endless dark. And beside him, Riku laughed, wild and free. Heh, now this is gonna be fun.